Hey everybody, KC here. So it was interesting to read in the paper about how the White House is basically going to be signing a series of executive orders setting as a goal that by 2030, half of the new cars sold in America should be electric. That's the goal. When we're going to hit the goal, who knows? But it's a very interesting goal. And listen, we know that the United States is trailing China when it comes to the manufacture and sale of electric cars. We also know that the major car companies in America and the United Auto Workers, they're all in favor of this because they've said they're in support of this decision. I don't want to get into the politics of it, and quite frankly, like I'm the wrong guy to start lecturing anybody about electric cars. I mean, my wife drives a Mini hybrid. Michael Sansolo has a Prius. I'm driving a Mustang, right? And so, you know, I still like turning on the key and hearing out, you know, that great Mustang sound. But I recognize that realities are changing. And if you just look what's going on with the climate, we all have to do something in order to deal with it. I am also interested in the business changes that this will run. And I'm not talking about in the automobile industry. I'm talking about in retail, right? Because when you think about it, specifically in the convenience segment, what kinds of new services are convenience stores going to, the ones at least that have gas pumps, what are they going to have to start offering? Not that gas pumps are going away, but they're going to have to start rethinking their business proposition. And it was interesting, as I'm sure you know, Michael Sansolo, who in addition to writing for Morning Newsbeat, also is the director of the Coca-Cola Retailing Research Council. I like to say that's his side gig, and this is his main gig, but probably not so much. Anyway, Michael handles the convenience store council in addition to the supermarket council. And he was having a conversation with somebody from Spar, which runs convenience stores outside the U.S. And these guys are basically saying to themselves that they have to think about how do we help customers fill the time when they're not spending time, the very brief period of time, filling their tanks, right? They're going to have to wait for their cars to charge. And a woman at Spar who Michael was talking to has said, hey, listen, they're thinking about things like manicure stations or yoga studios. They know they have to offer better food, better beverages, and they're going to have great Wi-Fi available to everybody. And I think this is really, really interesting. And it is the kind of adjustment that every retailer has to think about. Right? We have to think about how our business is going to change when the circumstances under which they operate are changing. I don't think there's any question that if electric cars start to gain greater traction, no pun intended, on American roads, businesses that depend on people coming to them in cars may have to make adjustments. It's worth thinking about, and you don't want to start thinking about this in 2029 or 2030 or God help us all in 2031. It's going to be 2022 before you know it. There's not a lot of time. Got to focus on it now. You know, I love to quote the old Jack Welch line, right? If change is happening faster on the outside than it is on the inside, the end is in sight. Well, change is happening on the outside, folks, and everybody has to adapt. Anyway, that's what's on my mind this morning. I hope you all have a great weekend, a great week, because I'm actually going to take next week off. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.